All right, so you guys are all here hopefully because you want to learn more about video marketing. This is a topic that I am super passionate about. I started my YouTube channel probably about 5-ish years ago, a couple of years after I started my business. And that was kind of really my gateway into video marketing. For me, it's been a great way to gain some exposure for my business. And it's also led to a significant amount of revenue. I think I can trace probably about $300,000 in revenue over the last 5 years back to my YouTube channel, which for me is significant. So it's been a great way for me to get introduced to new clients and to spread the word about my business. And kind of funny story, also reach people in like other countries. So I have a client in the UK that I've worked with for the past 4 years, and they found me on YouTube. So kind of a fun story there. So it's a great way to connect with people, existing clients, as well as get introduced to new people. And so today we're going to talk about how we can leverage video in our real estate businesses and what are some of the best practices for 2023 as we're looking to embrace this more this year. So hopefully you're all in on video or you believe in video marketing. I personally believe it's the way to go if you're looking for a significant digital presence in 2023, especially on social media. And what that means is, for me, what significant means is really, is what I'm doing producing a return on investment? Is it helping me connect more deeply with my clients? Is it helping me grow in my business? And is it connected to my overall goals? And so I believe that if this is something that you're trying to focus on, if you're really trying to expand your reach on social media, video is the number one way that you're going to be able to do that. It's the type of content that people prefer. And so we'll kind of look at some stats on how video and, you know, why it should be important to you and why it should be a part of your strategy. So these are some stats that I have been able to find and use, which, 73% of homeowners say they're more likely to list with an agent who uses video. I was telling Heather earlier, I've seen a real life example of this kind of play out more recently in my business. One of my clients got a listing appointment, and the client was kind of shopping around. It was a lead that they had gotten from their website, and they were considering using a couple different agents. And unfortunately, she ended up losing out on the listing because they decided that video marketing was really important to them, and they went with an agent who focused on promoting her listings through videos. So it can have an impact on your client's decision-making process. I know a lot of you guys work by referral, and so, that's how you're attracting your clientele, but it is becoming more and more important as you get connected to new people. People want to know that their properties are going to be marketed through video. So some other stats: half of social media users prefer video over other types of content, and marketing campaigns that include video show 34% higher conversion rates. And if that's not enough to convince you, over 80% of marketers state that videos have helped them generate leads and led to a positive return on investment. They also generate a significantly more shares, so about 1,200% more shares as compared to like images and text. And so what that means is if you do put a video out there, it's way more likely to be shared by people than just, a text update or a static photo. And then this one was kind of interesting to me. 1 in 3 millennials have bought a product directly as a result of watching a how-to video about it. I don't think that people are going to buy a home because you share a how-to video, but what this tells me is that videos are influential and that people are watching them, they're taking stock in them, they're using them to make decisions, which is important. So what is the big picture? Why do we care? Like, why does this matter? Like, stats are great, but how does this actually relate to your business? I believe that video does 2 things really well. I believe it helps you build trust and increases your relatability. I think in this new era of marketing, it's not enough just to be out there, promoting your products and services, saying that you're great. People want to really know that they can connect with you. They want to get a sense of your personality. They want to know what your brand stands for. And they want to know if you're an expert and they can trust you. And I think video can communicate these 2 things very exceptionally well, and just really helps you build stronger connections compared to other forms of social media marketing. And for real estate, I think the video is going to help you answer the following two questions, which we've all heard and know are important, which is, do I like you? And are you good at what you do? I think video can communicate those two things again well. It ties back to, are you professional? Are you someone I can relate to? Are you someone that I feel like I could see myself working with? So there is another benefit of video. And if SEO is something that you're trying to focus on this year, which is, being able to rank higher in Google, for certain keywords in your market, then video can help you do that. And this is why, if you are a BFIC member with us, we have you embed your video content into your blog pages, because having at least one video embedded in the page of your website can really help you rank higher in search. So especially when it comes to YouTube. So a lot of times we'll have our clients post their videos onto YouTube and then share them into their blog in order to help with that search ranking. So all good things. It sounds like video is magic from all those stats that I'm sharing. It's not, but what we do know about it is that it's great to weave into your social media strategy, but you need to have a strategy around it. You can't just be posting random things here and there or showing up one week and then being gone for the next 6 months. Like, it really should be thought about as part of your marketing strategy, and there should be a plan around it. And so we're going to try to give you some tools to help you do that and be more efficient with it. So what types of videos should we be sharing? So 73% of people want to see videos that are entertaining. And I know that scares a lot of people away because they think, I don't know, I'm not funny. Like, I don't know how to be entertaining. That doesn't really tie back into who I am as a business owner and the brand that I'm trying to build. So how can I do videos that stand out and that get engagement if I'm not wanting to look silly or put myself out there in a way that, just doesn't really represent who I am or feel natural to me? So I'm here to share that, yes, people like to be entertained on social media, but entertaining doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be funny. It can mean that you're funny, but you don't have to be. I would suggest, if you're going to embrace video this year, to get to know your customers and kind of try to figure out what topics they're interested in. And part of that can be from testing different styles of videos and seeing kind of what hits and what doesn't. You can also keep a list of questions. This is something I do, is I just kind of keep a running list of questions that I get asked often when it comes to marketing topics. And then when I want to create a video, I go back to those questions, because it's not me just kind of pulling things out of thin air. These are, real questions that people have asked me, and that I, sorry, I'm just reading the chat right now. I probably shouldn't do that while I'm presenting. So anyways, so that I'm pulling content ideas that, I know my target market is interested in. And so obviously these are just some examples of, yeah, you can be funny and do something, a funny real estate topic, or you can do something a little more serious and informative, and that can be entertaining as well. So with videos for real estate, I kind of like to put them into these different categories. These are the videos that I see people doing really well, that I see a lot of engagement on, a lot of views. And so I kind of wanted to share those with you as you're coming up with your video marketing strategy. I think it helps to come up with these like content buckets or content pillars, as we call them. We do this in all of our marketing. We kind of, whenever we're going to put together a newsletter, we say, okay, well, we're going to have these 4 pillars, whether it's lifestyle, local, whatever. And those are the types of content that we're going to share. The videos that you produce should be the same. There should be a content theme throughout, and you don't have to do all of these. You can kind of pick and choose the ones that you identify the most with, but these are just some ideas to get you started. So, and you can see on here that these are videos that are being viewed a lot. So you can do listings and home tours. I've heard a lot of people say, don't post your listings via video, but I do not agree with that. I find that when we do share our listings with my clients, they do get a lot of engagement. People like to see houses, especially if it's a nice looking house and you're a real estate agent. They come to you for advice on homes. They want to see what you're doing in your work. And so, yeah, I don't think every post should be a listing, but I do think it's okay to, and you should be including that in your videos. So an example would be like, obviously this girl's done a price improvement, which I guess people are saying now instead of price reduction. And then she's also doing like a home tour over here. Educational content is also great. That's, one of the biggest. They did a survey of like all the content that's consumed on social media, and tutorials and how-tos was by far number 1. So posting things that are educational is always great. You can do lifestyle. So this can be things going on in your business, in your life that tie back to who you are, your brand, what you're doing. Some other content pillars are, again, how-tos. That's another form of an educational post or educational video. Testimonials are great, especially when you can get a client on video. I think that can be really compelling. I really like doing local video stuff and mixing that in. Your clients want to know what's going on in your area, whether it's a great restaurant, you know, a new hip spot, a new development that's coming. You can share all that information. And then also I encourage you to include some personal videos. Again, people want to know that they can connect with you as an individual. And I think you get to draw boundaries with how much personal content you want to share. But I do think picking a couple areas of your personal life where you can weave that into your content is a really good way to build more connections and build a following. Okay, so let's talk about listing videos, because again, I've heard people say not to post your listings, but I don't agree. So there's definitely like a more creative approach you can take with, you know, listing videos versus just showing a static kind of home tour. And so I wanted to show you guys a couple examples of my clients and other people out there in the world that I think are doing a really good job with marketing their listings. And I think one of the themes that I've noticed that make listing videos more compelling and more interesting is if you can weave in sort of a story about the home or the lifestyle, what it would be like to live in the home, into the video. And so this is one of my clients, Pam Buddha from Sonoma County, and she does a really good job, I think, with her listing videos. She kind of gives you a walkthrough of the home and explains what it would be like to live in that home. And so we did this video, I think it was like a couple years ago now, but it ended up getting picked up by this guy on social media, and he shared it to his 300,000 followers and credited us with how creative one can be with real estate marketing. So I just wanted to show you guys this video real quick to give you a taste of kind of what you could do with your listings. And hopefully this will play. It sounds so silent with everyone muted. You can hear me all right. I can't tell.
This was a white hat. This was a white hat referral too.
Oh, you're on here, Pam. I didn't know you were on here.
Yeah, I was on another call, so I'm a little late, but good timing.
And it was a referral from a white hat.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2739 Joy Road in Occidental in Sonoma County. You know, I've noticed in years of selling country property that the best land doesn't change hands very often. If it's this place of refuge and beauty, people do not want to let it go. And that is definitely the case for this property. It's been in my clients' family's hands for over 40 years. They built the home to take advantage of the acres of sunlit meadow and the towering stillness of the redwood groves and fairy ring. There's a seasonal pond. It is just utterly a beautiful, beautiful place. In fact, I was struck by what my client had to say when she joined the family. She shared with me her first impressions of this beautiful property. Here's what she had to say.
I distinctly remember the first time I drove up Joy Road, and I just fell in love immediately. And then when we got to the property, you get that smell of almost like hay, and there's a sweetness in the air. It was very special to Dad. But for me, it was my happy place.
Thank you for stopping by. My name is Pam Buddha with Corcoran Global Living, and let's take a good look at this beautiful property.
So I'm not going to play the whole video, but essentially we get into the features of the home after we tell the story and kind of draw you in with what it could be like to live there. So this is more of a lifestyle video that I think does a good job of capturing the essence of the home and does it in a way that's a little bit different from what I'm seeing other people do. So that's just one idea of what you could do with your listings. I have a couple more examples because I know that people are in different markets and have different styles of homes. So this is that video I was telling you that ended up winning the girl the listing. And so she takes a different approach, but also there is a lifestyle element to how she's sharing the home and talking about it. And she kind of adds in a little bit of humor as well with her video. If we can get YouTube to play. And she's a Compass agent in Atlanta.
Hi, I'm Meg Garrido with Team Meg G and Lauren Z, and this is Keswick Village. Listen closely. That's right, peace and quiet. We're in Keswick Village, this gorgeous enclave of only 10 masterfully crafted homes, and this is actually the model home here at 3517 Keswick Drive. Entertain with ease in your chef's kitchen and deliver world-class meals with your double oven and ample cabinetry and storage space. With its rare floor plan, including the primary bedroom on the main floor, this fireside living room opens.
Again, you guys can watch the full videos if you want on your own, but just again, she kind of is showing herself in the home, showing herself playing tennis, kind of creating more of a lifestyle element around the home, which I think is really great. And then the last video I'm going to show you is a reel. And I want to show this one because I think that people have the misconception that in order for them to put their home on video, it has to be like $1 million home that looks flawless, that's staged to the T, and, you know, just presents really well on video. But in this example, you know, I would argue that this home is, you know, it's a nice home, but it's not like a high-end home by any means. And she still found a creative way to post about it on social media in a way that I think kind of grabs your attention. And hopefully this will work if I. And I'm going to play it on Instagram. Hopefully it'll work on my desktop. So this is an agent in our market, and the sound is not working. So I gotta
Salt
turn.
Lake County, close to restaurants, shopping, freeway access. This home has a lot to offer. So let's go on in and check out the inside.
I'll dance, dance, dance with my hands, dance above my head. Like Jesus. Dance, dance, dance with my hands.
This home has an unfinished basement ready for the new buyer to make it their own. No HOA and this beautiful, spacious backyard. Contact me for more information or click on the link in my bio.
So the video kind of, the intro got cut off, but essentially
Today,
she's
I've
just
got something
introducing the
for
home.
Everybody with the cutest house I just listed right behind me. It's an affordable rambler that sits on a super large lot right smack in between Utah and Salt Lake County, close to restaurants, shopping, freeway access. This home has a lot to offer. So let's.
Okay, so essentially those are three very different styles of video, but I think each one of them shows a different way you can kind of position your, let me bring my presentation back up, listings on social media, whether you're doing it professionally or you're trying to put something together with a reel. Obviously her reel was still probably done professionally because it looks like she's got some drone footage in there mixed in with like, you know, some cool elements. And so that's the thing, I guess, if you're going to do a reel and kind of try to make it more interesting, it helps to have a little bit more movement and mix in, you know, I like how she did kind of an intro outside the home and then took you in real quick, gave you a little tour, and then talked about some of the great features of the neighborhood and surrounding areas that make it a desirable place to live. So those are just some different ideas of how you could, you know, what you could do with your videos as far as the types of content to post. But another important component of your video marketing strategy is figuring out what platforms you're going to post on. And so I'm not going to talk about every single platform, but I'm going to talk about the three that I think most realtors should be participating in. And the first one, of course, is Instagram. And so some kind of best practices and trying to figure out if this is the right platform for you would be to consider, you know, what types of videos do you like to post, and also how often do you plan on posting? So if you're going to be on Instagram, it's suggested that you post about 2 to 3 times a week. And then you can do stories as much as daily. I do think that you're missing an opportunity if you're not using stories. Those 2 to 3 posts a week can be strictly video, or you can mix in some images. Again, we notice that we get more engagement from video, but you're going to, at a minimum, want to be posting a video once a week on Instagram. And then, yeah, trying to pop in the stories as much as often or as much as you can. I would consider Instagram more of a short video format. So whereas Facebook and YouTube, you can kind of post longer videos, Instagram, you're going to want to keep them pretty short. For your Instagram Reels, that means keeping them around a minute or less. And then for your stories, keeping them around 15 or 7 to 15 seconds is ideal. Those are kind of the sweet spots with both of those. On Instagram, you should be posting a mix of personal and business content. Again, trying to build that relationship through the personal content and demonstrate your expertise with the business content. Videos around 26 seconds long receive the most comments. That's just kind of a random stat that they found from all the data. So if you're looking to get more comments on your videos, maybe trying to keep them around the 30-second mark might be a good idea. And then also you're going to want to film in portrait. So I see a lot of people filming their videos like landscape like this and then trying to post them on Instagram. You can do that, but it just doesn't play as well. So definitely make sure you're filming in portrait mode if you are going to be creating reels, creating stories, things like that. It's just going to make your video more adapted to that platform and stand out and get more engagement. I also definitely recommend using captions if you're going to be creating reels. There's a super easy tool. You literally just click captions and it will automatically generate those for you. A lot of videos are watched without sound on social media, so it is important to add captions for people who are just kind of browsing and want to be able to capture at least some of your content. Another kind of best practice is to make sure that if you are posting reels, that you're sharing them to your stories as well. So there, you can share a reel as now either a post or create the reel on Instagram, and then you can repurpose that into your stories as a way to get additional content. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute what the difference is for those of you who are not familiar with reels versus stories. We'll talk about that a little bit, but you're definitely going to want to be able to use both of those, and you can leverage one video in both of those formats. I also wouldn't ignore the captions when it comes to video on Instagram. I feel like I see a lot of people on Instagram doing these short little video clips and then going into a lot more details in the caption. And I think that's a really good way to deliver more information and draw people in through your captions. Some additional best practices or things to remember with Instagram is you're going to want to add links into your stories. So that's a really cool feature that stories offer, is you can actually add a link to your website, to your listing, to wherever you're trying to drive traffic, and whatever your call to action is. So make sure that you're leveraging that tool, and of course, including a call to action. This is one of my clients who we've posted a couple videos, gotten more into her adding videos on her Instagram this year, and we've actually seen some great success with it. This one got 11,000 views, this one got 2,000. So, you don't have to have like this high-end production video. I mean, these are both very simple iPhone videos that are getting engagement, that are getting a lot of views on Instagram. So I do love Instagram for that. I think it's a really great way to, their algorithm is really good at showing your content to people who don't know you or aren't connected with you. And so I think, compared to Facebook, I really like Instagram for its discoverability. So if you are trying to kind of expand your followers and get in front of more people, I think Instagram is great. But let's talk about Facebook. So Facebook owns Instagram, but is very, very different especially when it comes to video. So I think Facebook is really great for people who are actually trying to drive traffic to their website. So I feel like Instagram, people want to stay on Instagram. They want to watch videos, browse around, hang out there, but they don't want to leave. Facebook is different. For all my clients across the board, Facebook drives way more traffic than Instagram, and that's just because it's designed kind of to do that. They have different tools that allow you to more easily link to your website. So if getting people to another place off of social media is your main goal, then Facebook could be a really good platform for you to use. I also feel like with Facebook, you can kind of get away with posting a little less frequently. So whereas Instagram, I would really encourage you to try to do at least, 2 to 3 videos per week. I know a lot of you, that might sound like a crazy amount, and even doing 1 a week could be a win, but definitely a goal to work towards. Whereas Facebook, I definitely think you can kind of get away with closer to 1 a week. It's also a good place to share a mix of personal and business content. And they also offer kind of a separation element where you can have your business page versus your personal account, and you can kind of separate your content that way if you want to. You can also get away with what I would consider more of like mid-length videos. So whereas Instagram is going to be more of a short format, on Facebook, videos between 2 to 5 minutes have been proven to do the best. So your videos can be a little bit longer if you're someone who likes to share things that are more educational, that require a little more in-depth explaining. Facebook could be a good place for that. It used to be that Facebook preferred videos that were filmed in a landscape format, but they're also now switching to more of a portrait mode. So again, you can be filming your videos this way and sharing them that way. And the reason is because most people are consuming the content on their mobile device. And so it displays in portrait on mobile versus desktop. It's going to be more of a landscape outline. So another good thing about Facebook is if you're someone who participates in groups on Facebook, that's a way to get more reach on your videos. And so you can post them and share them into your groups. Again, with captions, I recommend using them on Facebook. 85% of the videos on Facebook are watched without sound. So if you're not adding captions, you're missing out on an opportunity to, show your content to people because they might read it and see it. But if there's no sound or captions, they're not really getting what you're saying. So another cool feature, so you can go live on Instagram, but it's not quite as popular as it is on Facebook. So Facebook users are 4 times more likely to watch a live video than a pre-recorded one. So if you're comfortable doing live video, I think that can be a really great way to make video a little bit easier. Because I think part of the hang up people have with video is like, okay, cool, I kind of know what I want to say. I've got a message, but how do I edit it? How do I post it? Like that part can be very time consuming, but if you are doing more live video content, you kind of remove some of that out of the mix and you are literally just showing up live, showing something happening in your day or a home or a tip or whatever. And then you kind of remove the whole editing barrier to posting. And then as with all your videos, you should be adding a call to action. This is one of my other clients from Grand Junction, and she's been kind of focusing. She's had more traction, I feel like, on Facebook with her video. So another thing to remember is that everybody's demographic is going to be different. And when choosing a platform, you really should be looking at where your clients are showing up. Are you seeing more engagement on Instagram? Are you seeing them hang out more on Facebook? Go where your people are. I think that's a really good way to decide what platforms make sense for you. Okay, so we talked about reels versus stories. Some of this might be super basic for some of you, and some of you might not know the difference. So I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of pros and cons between reels and stories and explain what the difference is for those of you who don't know. So they're both on Instagram. Your reels are going to show up here on your grid or your feed. And then your stories are going to show up here for your followers. Your reels are going to get pushed out and recommended to people and be able to be discovered. Your stories are not. Those are for people that are just following you. So they're 2 different types of content. And I just kind of wanted to show you what each has to offer and why they're a little bit different. So reels are short form videos that live on your public feed. They are available until you delete them. So it's not like stories. The engagement on these videos happens in the comments of the video, and your video length can be now 90 seconds to up to 15 minutes, depending on how you're creating that reel. There's a couple different ways to create it. You get full captions associated with the video, so you can post a caption with it, and you have a hashtag limit of up to 30, so you can include up to 30 hashtags with your post. This is also going to be served to a wide public audience through the Explore tab on Instagram, and it's going to be content that's ideal for discoverability, and you're also going to have more advanced editing options. So that's kind of like what Reels are all about. And now if you contrast that with Stories, these are little small snippets of content that are temporarily available and pinned to your profile picture. So you probably noticed when you go on Instagram, you'll see some profiles highlighted at the top. Typically, those are profiles that are sharing stories on a regular basis. Facebook's going to show that to you so that you can click on it and see what's going on in their life that day. So these are available for 24 hours only, and then they disappear. The engagement on these videos does not happen in comments because there are no comments, but anything that is commented on that video will end up in your direct message. So you'll be able to DM back and forward with people, which is important because Instagram's algorithm is now prioritizing content in a couple different ways. And one of them is based on who you've actually direct messaged with over, the last, whatever, couple months. So if it's going to show your content to people who you've sent a direct message to or who have messaged you back, because it's going to recognize that as a person who is connected to you and wants to see your content. So if you are posting stories and getting DMs from people, your clients or whoever on your stories, then they're more likely to see all your other content as well. So it kind of helps with that part of showing your content to the right people. These can be up to 60 seconds now. Used to be only 15 seconds, but Instagram is slowly rolling out the ability to have longer stories up to 60 seconds without them being chopped up into 15-second bits. There is no captions with these. So this is strictly a photo with maybe you put some text on it or a sticker, or it's a video and you have your captions, but meaning like what you're saying, but it doesn't actually have a section for you to type in a long caption like a reel would. And you can add hashtags to your stories, but you're limited to 10. I would recommend only adding 1 or 2 if you are going to add a hashtag. And these are only likely to be seen by your followers or your friends. And sort of the goal with stories versus reels is really, stories are more to connect to the people that you already know. Reels are to get you out there and to get you seen by more people. So it's 2 different sort of approaches. I think both are important and you should be doing both, but that kind of hopefully will clear up for some of you what the difference is. Okay, and so why do we care about reels? You've probably heard about reels a lot. And so this is why there's this big push to get more people doing reels, to get you on video. And that's because half of all time spent on Facebook and Instagram is spent watching videos, and reels are their fastest growing content format by far. That's from Facebook. And they definitely, are prioritizing reels. I find when I share a reel versus any other type of video content, it gets seen by way more people. There's still sort of a viral element to reels, whereas I feel like that's gone away with a lot of other types of content. So if you are, again, trying to get yourself out there and get in front of as many people as possible, reels are a really great way to do that. So before I go, I do want to touch on YouTube as well, because I think YouTube is super important. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, this is where I've got my start, and I've been able to post very low budget. I mean, these videos are not the best quality, but they've gotten a lot of views. I mean, I've gotten almost, 726,000 views on this video, 150,000 views on this video. And so what I love about YouTube is there's no time decay like there are with these other platforms. So with Facebook and Instagram, you constantly have to be churning out new content. And yes, you should be doing that consistently on YouTube as well, but there's a much longer shelf life for your content on YouTube. So when you push it out there, it's going to stay out there and people are going to continue to discover it years down the road. So I get a lot more mileage out of my YouTube videos than I do on some of my other content pieces, just because the way YouTube is, the way it works and how it's it's a search engine essentially. So if you're using the right keywords in your videos, in your titles, you can continue to get your content viewed for years and years, after you post a video, which is unusual for a social media channel. So again, YouTube is great for longer format videos. If you're someone who likes to post, for me, it's been a great place to post like tutorials, how-tos. These videos have done the best for me. And so these are longer, like 5, sometimes 10 minutes long. So YouTube can be great for that type of content. This is where you're going to want to film in landscape and not do what I said earlier, which is film in a vertical format or portrait mode for your other videos. I would say with YouTube, your editing matters a little bit more because you are doing kind of these longer videos. I've noticed that the people that do really well on YouTube spend a little bit more time editing them and kind of packaging their videos. Like I mentioned, educational and how-to videos do really well. You're also going to want to make sure you focus on keywords and search terms in your title. So I always like to do a quick little search on YouTube before I'm picking a name for a video. And what I'll do is try to find other videos that are performing really well on the platform and notice commonalities with what words they're using in their titles. So is real estate in the title a lot, or is it your, market name, is it Salt Lake or whatever, but what are people searching? What are people looking for? And how are these videos being found? And then trying to infuse some of those keywords into the title of the video that I'm posting. You can also utilize, there's tags in your video on YouTube. And so what that'll allow you to do is add more search terms and keywords into the video that you're posting, and that's going to help YouTube determine what the video is about and who it should show that video to. So that's super important to include those. With YouTube, it's recommended you post once a week, but again, you can kind of get away with a little bit less. It just kind of depends on how quickly you want to grow and what you can commit to. Like if you're really serious about YouTube, I would definitely post a minimum of once a week, but a lot of my clients use it simply as a place to host their videos so that they can embed them in other forms, like on their blog and in their email. And that's fine too, but it's probably not going to see the same amount of growth. And again, you should always have a call to action. So yeah, if you are in our Be Epic marketing platform, again, we encourage you to embed your videos in your blog and embed them in your email. If you're taking time to film your videos, you should be repurposing them in as many ways as you possibly can. And so hosting them on YouTube is really great, because you're able to have a place to keep these videos so that you can share them. And then you're getting all these other benefits as far as like getting introduced to new people, tapping into YouTube's search engine. Do you have a question, Pam? I see your hand.
Yeah, I do. I'm curious if you could give some examples of calls for action for the different platforms, or maybe you're going to talk about that.
Yes, we can. I don't have, I can give you some examples, and I'll do that at the end. We can talk about that. So stay tuned. I'm almost done with my presentation.
Okay.
So how to get more engagement from your videos. We've talked about adding captions, especially to your reels. For those of you that don't know how to do that, you're literally going to go onto Instagram, post a reel. You'll see this little sticker like face guy up here. You're going to want to click that, and then this box will pop up. And this is where you're going to find kind of all the little fun things that you can add to your reels. So I definitely recommend adding captions. If you click that button, it'll automatically generate your captions. You just might want to read through them because it does kind of have errors in it a lot, especially when it comes to spelling names and things like that. I just posted one today and it spelled your name wrong, Heather. I thought I fixed it, but it corrected it back to a different spelling. So sorry. But you can also do other fun things, like you can add music, quizzes, polls, links. Definitely want to add a link if it's applicable. Stickers, gifts, like basically you can dress up your reel and make it more fun. That will help with engagement. I do recommend creating a custom thumbnail instead of just having it pull some random weird picture of your face. You can spend a couple minutes and create a custom thumbnail, save it to your phone, and then you can very easily upload it from your phone to your reel, and that'll just make it look a lot more professional. And if you're one of our members, we've provided you with templates for this, so please use them because they will make your videos come out a lot better. So as far as like content with your videos and how to make them more engaging, one thing I see a lot of people doing is they start their videos with, "Hi, my name is Kat from Be Epic Marketing." And it's a natural thing to want to introduce yourself in your video. But when you do that in every single video, it's kind of like you're missing that like first couple seconds to really hook someone's attention and get them interested in your video. And so what I would suggest is maybe holding off on the announcement of who you are to later in the video, or maybe even sometimes you don't need to include that, but using a hook to grab people's attention instead. And so that can be something like a question or a statement, using words like you instead of I, or asking a question can be a way to kind of hook people in. So instead of me saying like, "Hi, my name is Kat from Be Epic Marketing. Today we're going to talk about video marketing for realtors and some tips that you can use in your business," you could hook them in with like a, "Are you someone who struggles with creating videos for your real estate business? Okay, well, here are 3 tips that are going to help you kind of overcome that challenge." And so that's just kind of getting straight to the point of what the video is about. And getting into really why the person might be watching that video. And that is going to help you hold their attention a little bit longer. Another tip for engagement is, again, a general rule of thumb if you won't want to try to keep track of like every single platform and how long your video should be on each platform, is to keep your videos around or under a minute, and then you can kind of use them on all platforms. People don't typically, like, engagement definitely drops over time, and after a minute, you're more likely to see a bigger drop off when it comes to watching your content. And if you want to spice things up and make them more fun, Reels allow you to add audio and get creative with that. There's so many different songs that you can kind of lay into your videos to give it more of a personality and kind of make your videos more upbeat and interesting. So sometimes I think that works. Sometimes I don't think that's a good idea. Use it at your discretion. But like, for example, if you're showing a home and there's not really a lot of background talking going on, it might be a good idea to mix in some audio. Or if you're doing something a little bit more fun or funny, you can mix in audio. There's a lot of like trending audio if you go on Instagram, where you can kind of pull an example and maybe overlay that same soundbite into your own clip. So, tools of the trade. How can we make our videos more professional without spending a lot of money to hire a videographer? So I do think for some of you, hiring a videographer makes sense. I think it's not a bad idea. But I don't think that should be a reason why you don't do video. So I don't think you need all these tools, but these are tools that I have found that people ask for and use most often. So obviously iPhone is great. I don't use Android phones, so maybe someone who does can chime in on how those do with video. But for me, my iPhone works great. A tip on filming. So like if you have the newer iPhone, you can film in 4K instead of HD, and that's going to also help improve the quality of your videos. So definitely do that if you're looking to improve the quality of, the picture quality. And then when it comes to content, so I have some clients who absolutely will not film a video unless they're using a teleprompter. They just can't get their head around it. Like they just freeze, they flub their words, they are a completely like well-educated, articulate human being, and then when the camera comes on, it just falls apart. So if that's you, then just know that about yourself and maybe consider using a teleprompter. Personally, I don't like to use teleprompters because I find them to be distracting, and I think that I end up focusing more on trying to read what is on the teleprompter than just be myself and be natural on camera. But if you're someone that really struggles, maybe try using a teleprompter. They're not expensive. You can get, these apps and put them on your iPad and then film with your phone. Is that you, Heather?
I'm asking a question. So this particular teleprompter app, is that the one you like the most, or did you just pull that?
So yes, I've used this one and I think it's fine. Again, I don't use a lot of teleprompter apps, so I wouldn't say that I'm the expert on all things teleprompter, but this one I found works well. And so this is like an app you would use. You could put it on your iPad, or if you don't have an iPad and you want like a more of a proper teleprompter setup, then you can get this little piece of equipment. I think it's like $100. It's not expensive. And you lay your phone here and then it'll broadcast your script up here. So you could still use it with this app. You would just have the app coming up, and then it's going to amplify the size of the text and also the speed so that it's more natural with your like talking rhythm. And you can kind of adjust it as well. So if you're someone that needs that support in order to get video done, you can do that pretty inexpensively. My favorite tool is this right here. This is really all I need. I just need a light. I feel like if you've got good light and an iPhone, you can do a lot. And I like this ring light because it gives you a desktop version. So if you are sitting at a desk, you can have it on your desk. And it'll hold your phone, and then it also can unscrew and be on a tripod, so you can kind of take it, and it's very light, compact, you can take it places. So it gives you a lot of different versatility with using it. And again, I think it's like $50, so cheap. You can also use a lav mic. I don't feel like with the iPhone you need a mic unless you've got a lot of background noise going on. But if you are filming in a little bit of a more noisy place, or you really want to improve the sound quality, this is a wireless lav mic, which is kind of cool because you don't have to worry about like weird cords draping down or anything like that. And it'll hook up directly to your iPhone or tablet. I see more questions and hands going up. So if you have a question, if you want to pop it in the comments, and then I'll go through all those at the end. More tools. So obviously we're going to promote our marketing program a little bit. For those of you who are in it, we do provide you with some tools, and I don't know how many of you, I see some of my members on here, and so hopefully you guys are using these. If not, reach out to me and let me know how I can help you use them. But we do provide you with scripts each month. You get 2 scripts. These are more going to fall into your educational how-to content buckets, but this is at least going to give you a running start with video. So if your goal is 4 videos a month, we're giving you 2 of those scripts, no excuses, you can get it done. We also give you your thumbnail images so that you can personalize your images on your social media accounts very easily. All you have to do is drag and drop your photo. It goes along with the script. You're out the door, good to go, easy breezy. So if you are someone that needs help with marketing scripts, you don't know what to say, consider joining our membership, because we do give you these outlines and help you come up with your content every single month. So what is the golden rule of video? In my opinion, consistency is way better than quality. If you don't show up, it doesn't matter. You're not a player in the game. So I would focus more on consistency with your videos and then work on improving your quality over time. And I find that kind of naturally happens as you get more invested in video, you go deeper with it, you learn more about it, your quality improves. And honestly, some of the videos that I feel like were not very good that I've done have gotten the most engagement. So don't get hung up on the quality aspect. They do not need to be professionally filmed. And in many cases do better when they are not professionally filmed. Like I said at the beginning, if people can smell like marketing spin on a video, they will ignore it because they're on social media trying to be entertained, trying to make connections, trying to build relationships, and they don't necessarily want to be sold to, at least in a way that they know they're being sold to. So some action steps. I'm all about action steps and putting it, what you've learned into action. So these are 5 steps that I would take away from this webinar and start to implement in your own business. The first one would be to pick your platforms for the year. What are you going to commit to? Pick something that's sustainable. If you don't want to make video marketing your full-time gig, then maybe pick one platform to go deeper with video on. You don't have to do everything. You can do everything if you have time and support and the resources to do that. But if you're just getting started, pick one that you're interested in and that you feel like your clients are on, and go deeper with that this year. You're also going to need to decide on the frequency of your videos. So are you going to post 1 a week, 1 a month, 3 a week? Obviously, I've given you some suggestions. I think that 1 a week is a really good, solid goal, but you have to pick something that's going to work for you and your business. The next step is to create a content outline with scripts. Scripts do not have to be these long, documents. It could literally be a title and 3 bullet points that you're going to hit on in that video. Or it can be a full-blown script if that's what you want to put together. But I think just having an outline of these are the dates I'm going to commit to filming or posting my videos, this is the topic, and here are 3 bullet points I'm going to talk about, are just going to keep you on track and also give you a little bit more structure around your video. Another tip is to batch film and edit. If you're someone who doesn't want to have to sit down every single week and record videos and, post them, what you can do is sit down 1 time a month, bring a couple outfit changes, film all your videos for the month, edit them, kind of figure out what your editing style is, try to streamline it as much as possible, edit those videos, and then you're done for the month in 1 day instead of having to go in every single week. We all get busy, fires happen. This way, it's done ahead of the month. And that's another reason why we provide our scripts to our members 2 weeks before the month even starts, is because we want you to be able to have the opportunity to sit down, film this, get it ready to go for the month. It just is going to hopefully help it make it a lot easier for you guys to be consistent. And then the last tip is, pretty simple, but I've kind of ditched the word goal this year. I'm making commitments instead of goals. And the reason why is because I feel like it's really easy for me to break goals. But when I say I'm going to make a commitment to myself, I have a lot more of a personal investment in it. And I'm a lot more likely to, work hard to get it done. So I'm going to say make a commitment to yourself to follow through with these action steps and the plan that you put together. So now we can get to questions, the fun part. I'm going to pull up the chat.
I answered a couple, Kat, but there's One question is, how do you get rid of the glare on your eyeglasses when you use a ring light?
I don't know. Take your glasses off. I have also experienced the glare. And I don't know how to get that off. I would say you can try using natural light. It still might reflect a little, but just not as crazy. Or you can take your glasses off. I don't know if you need them to read something, but if you don't, you can try taking them off. But yeah, I know that's a pain. I don't have a good solution for that. Interesting, Brand. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to read through. What's more important, stories, reels, or posts? Okay, Leah. I would say if you're going to pick one to focus on, I would focus on reels. That's where I see the most engagement. And I do love stories personally. I love making them. I think they're easier than putting together reels. But if I had to focus on one, I would choose reels.
Well, I want to put a spin on that because I also responded.
Oh, you did?
So, yeah.
Did you say something different?
I said you need to do them all because everyone, like, people have different. I don't watch reels. I don't. I scroll. So usually, like, I don't have time. Like, I don't turn the videos on. I scroll. So, like, what I've always felt, and like I've done a lot of coaching just around marketing pillars, but like, you're going to have some audiences that will only watch videos and they won't scroll. Then you'll have the ones that scroll, and then you'll have ones that do the stories or the reels, right? So I think a combination of all is really important, because if you only do reels, I will never see what you put on there because I don't watch them. So you know what I mean? So like, I'm going to see your I'll see probably even a story over a reel, but I don't get on Insta that much. And so like, I don't understand it like some of our younger adults do, but I think you need a combo of all. So that's my take on it. But
I was trying to make it easy for you, Leah, but Heather says
Sorry.
no. She just said no. Denied.
But I am not the expert like Kat. I just feel like so many people have it. It's just different. Again, like I'm gonna scroll before I watch a video. So to get all audiences, try and have a mix of everything.
Well, and the reason why I said reels is because you can share them into your stories. So if you are going to pick one, you can do a reel and then share it into your stories. And then you're kind of getting both, you're getting coverage on both. So if someone's watching a story and not watching the reel, that shows up on whatever the feed, they're still going to see it. So it kind of allows you to leverage one content piece in multiple ways versus if you're just doing a story, you're not going to share that onto your.
So then do you recommend that people do a reel and share it on their story then? Just
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because you can do like 10 stories a day. There is no limit. Like people want, I've seen the people I follow, a lot of them are posting, granted, we don't all have time to be like posting everything we do that day, but like the best content creators on Instagram are sharing a lot of updates every single day in their stories. And these are kind of more little daily snippets. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm eating. Here's who I am. Here's my kids. Here's a couple work things. And then, your videos or your posts that you're putting a little more time and energy into creating the caption and the format of the post, that's going to show up on your actual profile. But what you can do is focus on creating one piece of solid content for your profile, 3 to 5 times a week or whatever. And then you share your videos, your reels into your stories. And so you can leverage it both ways. But yes, I do think you should share them.
Cool.
When do you do an Instagram reel? Is it automatically shared to Facebook? No, it's not, but you can select to share it to Facebook. So when you're posting your reel, I believe it'll give you the option and ask you if you want to share it to your Facebook. You can, and I've done that, but I don't know. I feel like it always shows up funky when I do that. So I tend to post it separately, upload it separately to both places, because then I can control the formatting on Instagram versus Facebook. And I think it looks better. But yes, technically you can do that. Is there a small icon on the bottom of the left with the Facebook logo? If you click it, will it post the video to your, what? Oh, okay, someone's answering. Okay, yeah. So yes, you can share to both at the same time. I just personally don't like to do that. Getting rid of the glare, we talked about that. Marketing program is awesome. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Christine. Love that. We got another question about glasses. So yeah, I mean, I would say if the glasses thing is getting you, try natural light, try going outside, or like right now, I'm not really using a ring light. There's a window in front of me. And so just having like that natural light hitting you, you won't necessarily need a ring light.
Well, somebody just also put on there, and I just looked it up. It's called LED. Well, sorry, it's called Newer, and it's a
Oh, I see this, yeah.
LED light that you can do on the sides that would take the glare off your glasses. So maybe try that. It's like only $39, so it's a good price.
There you go. There has to be something. Okay, which video editing app do you recommend? Okay, so I actually edit a lot of the videos I do in Canva just because I try to keep everything simple and in one system. So for me, I just try to do everything in Canva, and then I just literally splice things up and put them into Instagram. So one thing you can do to kind of make your videos more interesting without actually having to do a lot of editing is you can film short clips instead of a long clip and then upload all those short clips individually. And that's called kind of like a jump cut. And so basically it'll naturally create this movement in your video versus just having one long video. So if you're not trying to edit a lot, and also if you're someone that has a hard time getting through an entire 1 minute video without messing up, that's another way you can do it, where you can kind of stitch together or weave together multiple clips using Reels, and it'll edit those together. And then you can add music, you can add filters, you can add all that stuff directly within Instagram. But I also find that Canva is pretty easy to edit with. I used to use Final Cut Pro a lot, and I've just kind of moved everything to Canva because it's an easy place to house everything, and I find it's super user-friendly. If you edit on an iPhone or iPad, LumaFusion is a good app. So if someone recommends LumaFusion, I have not tried that. Anybody got apps? And I would love to hear, because I don't use an Android and I never really have. So if you guys have apps for Android users, feel free to chime in. Oh, I see Noelle's on here too. Thanks. I love all the testimonials we're getting in there. Can I copy and paste these and use them on our website? Thanks, Noelle, for the testimonial.
You're welcome. I'm just giving credit where it's due. And yes, you can share it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
So any other questions about video? I would love to hear if anybody has a success story about video they want to share. So like a video that they've put out there and they feel like they just really hit it out of the park and it did amazing and they got tons of engagement, or maybe even a client from it. Any success stories? Anyone having success with video right now?
I mean, I think my listing videos have been really well received, and I put a QR code on just sold postcards, so I mail to a radius, and I've gotten multiple listings off of that Joy Road property, and I have to think that the video, you know, the combination has really helped me.
Cool. Any other success stories? Anybody doing anything creative?
Kat, what's your YouTube?
I think it's just Kat Kobzeff. I'm in the process of updating it though. But if you want to follow me, just Google Kat Kobzeff on, or don't Google it, put it into YouTube and I'll pop up. And my videos are probably, you're going to see them and be like, these are embarrassing. How does she have this many views?
That's why they work. That's the thing. That's why they work.
I am also trying to be more consistent with video this year because I was really good. And that's the thing too, with all of this stuff I found, like it took me probably a solid year to 2 years to really start to get views on YouTube. But I posted consistently, like a couple times a week I would post. And sometimes it was garbage and it fell flat. And sometimes it got picked up and did really well. But at the end of the day, like I said, I've gotten multiple clients. My highest grossing client I got from YouTube. And so for me, you know, it's been worth it. And I've kind of fallen off the wagon because I've gotten busy with work, which is a good thing. But I do want to get, you know, back into doing that and making a commitment to that this year because I do believe in it. I know it works. It's worked for me. But you got to stick with it though. You got to be consistent and know that it's going to be like throwing stones out into like a silent ocean for a while. And then eventually you'll start to get more traction and people will be like, oh, I keep seeing this person. What are they talking about? And then they'll start paying attention and then they'll watch one of your videos and be like, oh, that was kind of fun. And then you'll get better and you'll get more engaging and it'll just grow from there.
Well, and I'll even say, because since COVID, I've fallen off the wagon a lot because I had a videographer that did all my stuff. But I also had a really, like my assistant at the time was like, she scheduled it into my calendar and it was I had to do, it was non-negotiable. I had to do them. Otherwise she would strangle me. So if you have an assistant, just like Kat said, make a commitment and have them commit to you that they're going to hold you accountable to your video schedule, and they're going to put it in your calendar and walk in your office with a camera if they have to. I think that's where I found the most success, is just having somebody really push me and be like, you're filming this whether you want to or not. And she wrote my scripts and I had them, and like Kat said, with Be Epic, we provide those scripts, which is nice. You don't have to think that up and think what to say. We offer that and you can tweak it and make it your own. But if you've got somebody that works for you, then have them commit to you that they're going to force you to film the video, because it takes time. It does. So it's something that you have to really commit to.
I love that someone posted their most successful reel was of their son waxing their skis.
Yeah, that's awesome.
24,000 views. Yeah, it's like the simple stuff. Like people they just want something simple that's, like I said, like entertaining.
Yeah.
Speaks to your personality, lets people get to know you a little bit better. Christine, one of our members, also put that she gets a lot more feedback when she shoots her videos in one takes and leaves in mispronunciation, flubs, etc. People want realistic humans to work with, not robots. And I totally agree. Like it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and, delivering value and showing that you care and that you're professional and that you're a great human being who's also great at what they do. So with that, I think we can probably end this unless there's any final questions.
That was amazing, Kat. Thank you. I learned a lot. So it was
Good.
awesome.
Now, no more excuses. You got your Valentine's Day party coming up. We're going to get
After
you
that?
on video. No, not after that. You're going to be on camera at the party. And also, for those of you who are going to Nashville, we're going to be there. So come say hi to
doing a
us.
mixer.
And we're going to do a mixer.
So stay tuned.
So yeah, we'll be sending you
coming
guys
soon.
an invite on that if you want to come hang out with us after the masterclass.
Just make sure you plan on it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. And thanks for showing up and all your questions. Bye.
Bye.